In this video, we're going to walk through a finance case study to show you how we're seeing e-commerce and retail brands use prepaid subscriptions to increase their customer lifetime values as much as 100% or more and also increase cash flow. My name is Eric Andrews and I'm the Director of Commerce Strategy at Ordergroove. Okay, let's dive in. Okay, so before we dive into today's case study, I briefly want to talk about what are prepaid subscriptions and who is this video for. So this video is for e-commerce and retail businesses interested in quantifying the unit economics impact, so the impact to the customer lifetime value of selling their products on prepaid subscriptions. So what are prepaid subscriptions? So prepaid subscriptions allow brands to offer customers larger discounts, so larger than they're offering anywhere else, to pre-purchase multi-order bundles. So commonly that's 3, 6, or 12 orders, and then the customers receive those over time. So an example would be prepay 3 orders of XYZ product and receive 25% off, or prepay 12 orders and receive 40% off. And this is important because it brings the prepay dynamics of SaaS. So in SaaS, it's very, very common for customers to prepay, often for a year, and in B2B SaaS, sometimes 2 or even 3 years. But it brings these dynamics to e-commerce and retail brands, allowing customers to prepay for longer periods to receive larger discounts, and allowing brands to lock in longer customer lifetimes and receive cash upfront. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how prepaid subscriptions can lift your customer lifetime value. So now what we're going to do is we're going to calculate the customer lifetime value for 3 different segments of customers. The first segment is customers who are basically just one-time buyers. They're not on any sort of retention program, so no subscriptions, no memberships. They just buy when they want. The second segment is customers who are on a 3-order prepaid subscription. And the third segment is customers who are on a 6-order prepaid subscription. So in order to calculate the LTV, we need a few pieces of retention and financial data. So the first thing we need is the average order value. So in our scenario, we're saying that the average order value for a customer who receives no discount is $80. And then if we go down to the COGS, the product COGS, so that's the cost of manufacturing the product, is $19 per order, and the fulfillment costs are $15 per order. So most of that's shipping, but there's also things like pick and pack. So the total COGS is $34, so we make $46 in gross profit at a 58% gross profit margin. So now if we move to our 3-order prepaid subscriptions, we're saying that we're going to give them a 25% discount, and then for our 6-order prepaid subscriptions, we're going to give them a 30% discount. So we end up collecting, instead of $60 for the 3-order prepaid and $56 for the 6-order prepaid. And then in all 3 scenarios, the COGS are obviously the same because it still costs us the same amount of money to manufacture and fulfill our items, so $34. So you can see here that the gross profit declines. So you see 46 and then 26, so it's almost cut in half. And by the time you get to the 6-order prepaid, you have less than half the gross profit of your one-time buyers. And that's a 39% gross profit margin. So at this point, most operators would do this analysis and say, it's not economically viable for us to offer this large of a discount. But what they're generally underestimating is the retention lift that they will see from prepaids. So let's take a look at that story. Okay, so I'm going to walk you through some retention data for these 3 different scenarios. And this data is based on the type of retention data that we see with our Ordergroove merchants. So these numbers are very realistic. So if you haven't seen a customer retention cohort table before, let me just explain to you how these work. So a customer retention cohort organizes data by the initial purchase month of customers. So month 1 here, and then looks at the stream of subsequent purchases through time based on the initial purchase month of that group of customers. So if this doesn't make sense, it will here in a moment. So here's our case study. So we have a group of 1,000 new customers that makes 1,000 orders for the very first time. You can see those here in the table in July. And then we track them across the first 12 months of their lifetime. So we want to examine those 1,000 customers in 3 different possible scenarios, which are the 3 scenarios we're using to calculate the customer lifetime value. So we have the one-time buyers with no subscriptions, then the 3-order prepaid subscriptions, and then the 6-order prepaid subscriptions, and then you'll see the exact same data represented below in percentages for the 3 scenarios. Okay, so let's start with our one-time buyers. So in July, you see this group of customers places 1,000 orders. But these types of customers often don't have very high retention. So 1 month later in August, you see that only about 10% of customers make it to the second order. And you'll see that exact same data represented down below. So 100% of customers make the first order and only 10% make it to the second order. And you see that 5% make it to the third order, 3% make it to the fourth order, and by the end of the first year, most of these customers are gone. And so let's look at the average orders per customer over the year. So we're going to add up the total orders. So you can see here that the total is 1,184 orders divided by your 1,000 customers. So your average customer placed 1.2 orders over their very first year. So now let's talk about subscriptions. And the power of prepaid subscriptions is this. When you have 1,000 new orders on a 3-order prepaid subscription, you're able to lock in a 100% retention rate for 3 months in a row. And then generally what we see at the end of 3 months is you see about 50% of customers roll off and then 50% of customers re-enroll. So a 3-order prepaid subscription doesn't just get you to 3 orders, it actually has a much longer tail than that. So you see 500 more orders and then repeat for 3 months. And you kind of see that same roll off over time based on the data that we're seeing with our merchants. So the average orders per customer over the first 12 months of 3-order prepaids is actually about 5.6 orders. So it's a significant improvement over the one-time buyers. And when you talk about the 6-order prepaid, we see a similar dynamic. So first off, you're able to lock in a 100% retention rate for 6 months straight. And then you also see about a 50% roll-off at the end of 6 months. And so the amount of orders that you're able to generate from this original 1,000 customers ends up being about 9 average orders just over the first 12 months. So now we're going to take this data and we're going to plug it back in so we can calculate the customer lifetime value of each of these customer segments. So now you can see here that we pulled in our average lifetime orders from the last tab. So you see for the one-time buyers, we have 1.2 orders. For the 3-order prepaid subscriptions, we have 5.6 orders. And then for the 6-order prepaid subscriptions, we actually have 9 orders. So the customer lifetime value is the lifetime orders, so that's 1.2, times the gross profit per order. So that's 46. So we have $54 of customer lifetime value for the non-subscription buyers. Now, when we go to the 3-order prepaids, we see that the gross profit basically gets cut in half. It goes from 46 to 26, but the customer lifetime value jumps up to 146 because we have 5.6 lifetime orders. So that's about 3 times as high. In terms of percentage increase, it's a 169% increase. And then in terms of dollar increase, you add $92 to the customer lifetime value versus your one-time buyers. So when you go to the 6-order prepaid subscription, it gets even more extreme. So you have 9 lifetime orders times the $22 in gross profit. So you get to $198 of customer lifetime value. That's basically 4x where you were at with the one-time buyers. And it adds $144 of customer lifetime value to each customer who enrolls into a 6-order prepaid subscription. So this is a massive, massive lever for businesses that want to increase their profits. One quick thing, if your brand is looking to drive growth by offering prepaid subscriptions, Ordergroove is designed to deliver unmatched customer experiences that extend customer lifetime value for ambitious, fast-growing merchants with large order volumes. Take full advantage of our advanced subscription capabilities to gain market share and brand differentiation for less time and cost than homegrown or alternative solutions. Come book a demo with us today. Also, you can download this free Excel template linked in the description below, and don't forget to follow Ordergroove on LinkedIn to stay up to date with the latest subscription and recurring revenue trends. So now I want to show you how just moving a small percentage of your customers into prepaid subscriptions can have a very, very large impact on the average lifetime value across an entire business. So below, I've created a sandbox where we can look at different scenarios where we change our customer mix. So today, we're going to say that 100% of our customers are one-time buyers. But in the future, we want to look at a scenario where we're able to move 15% of our customers into prepaid subscriptions. So the one-time buyer percent would drop to 85%. Then let's say 10% we are able to sell into 3-order prepaid subscriptions and 5% to 6-order prepaid subscriptions. So what you can see here is that when we look at this as a weighted average, your customer lifetime value increases from $54 to $71. So that is a 30% increase in the average lifetime value of a customer at your company. And so your ability to drive profits out of the exact same customer base just increased 30%. So your gross profit would rise 30%, and ultimately that would flow through to the operating income. And so this is a huge lever to lift profitability for businesses. Now there's one final additional benefit that prepaid subscriptions can bring to a business, and that is improving your working capital dynamics. So when customers prepay subscriptions, it changes how your business finances itself because you're able to collect cash up front. So normally, to manufacture new inventory, you either need cash from prior customers' payments or outside investor cash. That could be debt or equity so that you can buy the inventory, have it manufactured, and sell it to new customers. But if customers are prepaying subscriptions, especially the longer duration subscriptions like 6+ months, you may be able to finance the inventory you're selling to them with their own money. So this dynamic is called negative net working capital. Businesses with negative net working capital are able to collect payments before they create the actual product. This allows them to make or deliver the product with the customer's own money rather than their own capital and savings. These dynamics are very common in certain industries like B2B SaaS and education where people prepay tuition, but they're very uncommon in e-commerce. A lot of e-commerce businesses go broke not because they're not making money at the customer level, but because they run out of liquidity and they have bad working capital dynamics. So prepaid subscriptions can improve your working capital profile in addition to your LTVs. Prepaid subscriptions are such a powerful lever to increase customer lifetime value. We hope this video has been helpful. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment if you have any questions, and we'll see you in the next e-commerce strategy guide video.